Well, hi there, it's Crafting Bunny here. Been a busy old time lately. We've been doing on stage and all sorts of classes, so I haven't been around for a little bit, but I'm back here today and I'm just going to show you a card I made using the Simple Zinnias. Now I used this for a craft class not so long ago, so I just thought I'd back it up with a quick video of how to make one of the cards. So this is what we're going to use today, and we're going to make a card, and these are the measurements. So we've got a piece of sweet sorbet, and that's a measurement of 21 centimeters by 14.8, and we're going to score it at 10.5. So it's going to be a side opening card. And then we've got a piece of basic black, and that piece is going to be 14.5 centimeters by 10.1 centimeters. And then we're going to use a piece of basic white, which is going to be 14 centimeters exactly by 9.5. And we're going to do something with this one to stop it looking quite so plain. So those are the basic measurements. In addition to that, we're going to use a piece of the Simple Zinnia's coordinating DSP. So it's up to you which one you choose to do, but I'm going to be using this one, which has got the little zinnias on it. And that piece needs to be 10.1 in the length and 3.5 centimeters in the width. The only additional thing we need to have into these measurements is a piece of scrap, which I've previously stamped the group of zinnias on there. So I'm going to colour that in first before I do anything else. So let's take those to one side. And don't forget, if you can't remember the sizing, you can always rewind and pick them up from there. So I'm going to colour this in, and I'm going to use lemon and lime twist, and the dark and the light. I'm going to use the new Pretty in Pink, and I'm going to use Berry Burst. And I've got the light and the dark in each one of those colours, but I'm going to start off with the leaves. So let's get to grips and get going with that one. So when I do anything that's going to be using both light and dark, I always start with the light colour. And I'm going to use the fine tip to do this because I want to go in between the leaves. So I'm going to very carefully colour these in. It shouldn't take too long. There's not a lot of them to colour in, so hopefully we can get this done as quickly as possible. The beauty of this is that because some of them are overlapping, it means that I can actually colour over them, the one on top. Probably breaking a few rules by doing that, but hey ho, rules are meant to be broken, so they say. So I'm just going to colour these in very carefully around this bit, obviously. So I love a zinnia. It's a pretty flower and comes in lots of different colours. So let's hope that you like them as much as I do. And by the time with this we've finished this card, hopefully you like them a bit more. Who knows? So while I'm colouring this, we had a fantastic time on stage. Really did. Very tiring, extremely tiring, but it was good fun. And we learnt lots and lots of things about the new products that are now going to come in May. So hopefully if you're a demonstrator, you'll have received your catalogue by now. There we go. I don't know if anyone notices, but you can use the print to highlight your image. So you'll see that on the print, when you stamp them out, you see these lines, and they're there for a purpose. They're to help you give the shading. So use those lines to provide the shading to give you the image that you want. and you just literally follow over the lines. They're there for you to guide you, so it's worthwhile making use of them. Just hopefully catch them all. This gives it a bit more depth when you come to the colouring part of it. You can also use something called a colour lifter as well, which if you don't want a heavy look on one more part of your plants or your any colouring really, animals, that sort of thing, you can use what's called a colour lifter, and it lightens, almost bleaches in some respects, so it just helps give that little bit more. And see around the leaves how much it's helped with the shading, because not all the leaves look full on bright, do they? So you do get ones that are slightly in the shade, so they do give the shading a bit more. So I'm going to colour 2 of these zinnias in the new Pretty in Pink. So I'm going to again start with the lighter colour. So I think I'm going to colour this one and this one. I'm also going to use the pumpkin pie for the centres on 2 of them, and I'm going to use Daffodil Delight, the dark one, on the centre of another one, so that we get a contrast. So I'm going to use the big brush on this one, because obviously the big brush covers it quicker. So here we go, just got to be careful. And so this is the light. It's quite pinky. Sometimes people find that using the bigger end of the blending brush helps keep you in the lines, but I don't think it all really does matter. So I'm going to do all this first. Trying to stay within the lines, although it doesn't really make a lot of difference because I'm obviously going to cut this bit out, so I'm going to leave it on the card and then put the card on the card base. Okay, so that's not too bad. And then I'm going to colour this one as well, the same colour. Just finding you can obviously use any colour really, because zinnias come in such a variety of shades. So I think you've got artistic license, as they call it. We'll see. Okay. And I'm going to use the darker one in a second to go over those lines again, like we had on the stems. So there's 2 of them coloured. So I'm going to take the darker one now, and I'm going to use the fine ones, and I'm just going to literally go over all these lines, not in any great detail, but just quickly go over them so you can get the idea of how these help with the shading. You could even use a different colour completely if you wanted to. It depends how brave you're feeling really. So and then I shall have a different colour for the centre. But you can see how that has made made it look a little bit more effective. And it gives the image a lot more depth. So I'm going to go with the light pumpkin pie for the centres on these two. And on that one. Just make sure I've got all of it, that's the important bit. Otherwise you'll see the white and then that spoils the effect. Okay, so I'm going to pause now and I'm going to do the last one and then cut this out so that you can see the end result. Okay, so I've cut out, after cutting the last, colouring the last flower, just so you can see that, and I've used the dies that come with this stamp set to cut out the whole flower, but you can see that it leaves a small edge around the flowers. So just to finish off, I'm not too bothered about the inside bits, but what I might do with that is I might use a little bit of the background colour I'm going to use on the main card, just to give it some coordination. So I'm going to take the light petal pink, I think, and use that one for the background. I'm just going to go round very quickly. I'm not going to be too precise with it. I'm just going to colour it very quickly, and I'm going to use the bigger end of the blending pen just to sort of fill in those white bits, because they look a bit obvious and glary, so, and I'm not keen on that. And I'm going to use the petal pink in a second for the panel that we're going to put this on. So, and that just fills in any obvious white patches that you can see. I'm going to take it round the edges where all these white bits are, and just very quickly add a bit of colour to try and blend it in when it comes to doing the background. So just takes that glare of white away. Some people use Pool Party to do this one, but I think it's nice to make it blend in with what the colour's going to be on the background anyway. So that's better. I think that looks much better than having it not easy to see on this camera, unfortunately. So that's that bit. So I'm now going to take the panel, the basic white panel. So just move these out of the way. So this is the basic white panel. So just to recap on the measurements, it's 14 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. I'm going to pop that off of there and pop it away over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the petaled pink again, and I'm going to use a blending brush on the petaled pink. So keeping it in. So I've got my orange blending brush. So I'm going to take a bit of the ink. Now I'm doing this before I actually emboss. Trying to emboss something that's not colour, that's not already got the colour on it, is not as easy to do. So I'm taking this first before I actually, and I don't want a big blob in the middle, so I'm going to just take a little bit off and just go round and add the petal pink. So I might have to add a bit more. So, but I'm not going to cover the whole piece. I'm just going to take a random colour, again to take the glare of the white away. I'm just going to close those blinds, because those blinds are not helping when it comes to seeing the colour. And I might need to put the light on as well. Not sure if that makes it better or worse. Hopefully you can see the colour on there. So, and I'm just literally. You must remember when using blending brushes, don't hold them at the end. Hold them either just here before the brush itself or actually on the brush, because that piece is extremely narrow and it could easily snap. Okay, excellent. Right, that's that done. Pop that to one side so I don't get covered in the stuff. I'm now going to use the Simple Zinnia's actual embossing folder. This is a 3D embossing folder, so when you emboss on it, it gives you a rather nice effect. So again, I'm sorry, but it's not very easy to see the pattern. If I do that, you can probably just about make it out. So I'm going to just quickly run that through the die cutter and emboss it. So a couple of minutes and I'll be back with you. Okay, so here I am back again, and I've just pushed this through the actual die cutter. That's better. You probably can see the images now, but you can see also that I've shaded with the petal pink over some of the flowers just to give it a little bit of colour. So all that's left really is the assembly. So we've done the colouring for the flowers, we've done the cutting out, and we're going to now use the basic black panel, which again, just to recap, 14.5 centimetres by 10.1. So pop that on there, and I'm literally going to put this on top of the basic black, and that's just going to be used with a bit of glue. So that's going to go on top of there. So sometimes you need to be a bit more generous with the glue when you're using anything that's being embossed, because obviously there's more of a digging in of the image, so you want to make sure that the paper touches where it needs to. So I'll pop that on there, so I've got a bit of a black border like that, and then I'm going to pop the DSP panel that I had across the centre. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue the flowers, because I want that one, those flowers, to sort of poke out underneath where I've embossed. So I'll put that on first. I'll take it down a bit, I think, because I want those to be up a bit higher, but I want those flowers just over the DSP slightly. So I'm going to do DSP first. I'm going to leave a bit of a border, I think, on, but cover the white up. And then I'm going to pop that over the top of there, and I'm going to put the glue only on the bottom half, so I don't want everything stuck down. I want to leave the flowers slightly raised. That's it. So that's going to go about there. Okay, so the glue is only on the top, so these will move a bit. So what I now need to do is I need to put a sentiment on there. So the sentiment I'm going to put on there is from the set. So I shall take my block and I'm going to put it in the real red. colour. Oh, get it up the right way. Always a good idea. It's quite juicy, so I've got to be careful. And I'm going to pop that in the middle of that of a piece of scrap cardstock, basic white. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't want that's too wide, that piece, so I'm going to use my trimmer and I'm going to just trim it down a little bit. So bring the trimmer in. It's not much really. I'm going to just take it down 1 centimetre either side and see how that looks, because it moved then. Bit of glue on my finger. And then take 1 centimetre, maybe a little bit more than 1 centimetre. Let's see where it happens to fall. Yeah, if I do it 1 centimetre on that side, you can see that the letters, this is a good guide, you can guide this. So I'm going to take it a little bit further over until I can't see the ends of the words in the window. That's better. Okay. There we go. And that's going to sit almost across like that on the cardstock, and I'm going to use dimensionals for this one. I find using tweezers for the dimensionals makes it easier. Your nails don't get, the ends of your nails don't get plopped off, and especially if you've had them polished. That's better. Okay. There we go. So, and then just over card like so. So all needs to be done now is to have it put on the card base. So again, the card base is Sweet Sorbet. Unfortunately, this is one of the colours that's disappearing, but I have got quite a lot of cardstock, so I just need to use up the cardstock that I've got. So that's going to go on the front of that card there. So okay. There we go. And again, a bit of a border so that we can see some of the card. And there we have a finished result. So hopefully you've enjoyed making that card when you get round to it. And it's quite an easy, simple card, perfect for someone who's just starting out. Bit of colouring, bit of card cutting, and stamping. The most difficult bit is the embossing. So hopefully for a beginner that's going to be quite an easy card to start with. So that's me done for today, and I will no doubt be seeing you again pretty soon. So just to recap, we've done Simple Zinnia, and that's in the current catalogue. So I'll see you all again soon. Take care and look after yourselves. Bye.